just finishing off the Christmas tree. Do you know the thing that annoys me about this show? That absolutely nobody ever seems to help. Tousi, what are you actually doing? And Barnes, Barnes, are you being fed grapes? That's it, I've had enough. I'm having these grapes, and it's time to start the show. Hello and welcome to That Was the Woke That Was, the topical quiz show that gives you the wokest stories of the week, and I absolutely promise no snowflakes allowed. And so on my teams tonight are Pete Barnes and Lacey Butcher and Emma Barr and the lovely, the beautiful Mahyar Tousi. Let's get this party started. OK, Lacey, first appearance. This is the big one. Yeah. OK. The Royal Mail has banned postmen from flying England or Wales flags during the World Cup.
Ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, should we not be there for absolutely everybody, even the people from Scotland and Northern Ireland who didn't qualify?
When has football ever been about staying on the pedestal? Never. You have to take a side.
Yeah,
all
you
the
do.
time.
Yeah, I have shown me. Well, the funniest thing about this story is the excuse that the Royal Mail gave. They said, "Oh, they might fall off and hit somebody." Like they gave the flimsiest excuses.
Has this story hit the post?
Hey.
There we go. I've been planning that one.
You know, well, it was a good strike, I suppose. Yeah. But no, so like there's two things really. One, that you said like it could cause offence, so it's not like anybody's already complained about it, and which that one annoys me. And then, like I said, the other bit is when they said, "Oh well, it's." You know, they might be like not attached properly and something, and they can fall off. I was like, just say you want to be woke and just get on with it.
It's like, but it's like when you see a Christmas tree and they have all this sort of metal sheeting around it or whatever, so nobody accidentally kills themselves on a Christmas tree.
What annoys me the most is it's the fact that it could cause offence. I see, you know, like I can kind of get out in a way that they're trying to like get out there just in case, but it just seems a little pathetic.
But Pete, it sounds like you actually know the answer to this story. but it's the idea that it causes offence to the Welsh or the English when we play against each other, or is the idea that it might offend somebody who's come to this country even though they hate this country and don't want to fly the national flag?
I think it's the second one. I think it's just like, you know, it's just anybody, and it just seems to be like, oh, we can't do anything in this country that, you know, could show a little bit of national pride because, you know, we're the bad guys, and it's that narrative that this seems to be leaking into that.
But I remember a few years ago in the northwest of England, near where we're from, when the Bolton Town Hall flew the Pakistani flag because the mayor was of Pakistani descent. And you think, well, hang on a second, if we can fly the Pakistani flag, why can't we fly the England flag?
Do you not remember all the uproar when it came to the flags down the Malfa when it was the Platinum Jubilee? Everyone lost their minds, didn't they? Saying like, oh, it looks like reminiscent of Nazi Germany, and then all you had to do was show pictures of Brussels where there's a European Union flag everywhere. You know, some reason in this country you can't show any national pride in anything because otherwise you just get called a racist. It's frankly ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think one of the things that's quite interesting is that they're clearly trying to paint this as being quite divisive, when in fact I think football is such a unifying thing, something where you see everyone rushing to the pub, coming together, and that real sense of camaraderie.
Yeah, I agree.
And also I think we should be proud of Wales as well. You know, we should recognise that the Welsh national flag's an important thing, that Welsh is important, and Wales is a valued country. Now, I think you know what the answer is, but here we go. This is for 15 points. Come on. The Royal Mail has banned postmen from flying England or Wales flags during the World Cup. Is it true or false?
We are going
It's true.
True.
It's absolutely true! 15 points. Well, the Royal Mail have said that their staff can't fly the England flag. I've been out and about asking whether it's right to be proud of our national flag during the World Cup.
That's bloody stupid.
Why?
Because it's England and you have to fly what they want.
Do you think that we're not proud enough of our national team?
Well, we're all proud, but it's the government. They just don't know what to do they?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're being ruled by their mental state rather than their, what I would call, sensible. Idiots like that.
Do you think that's a good or bad thing?
I think that's a bad thing.
Why?
Because the Royal Mail represents royalty in the UK, which is the English flag, is it not?
Do you think that's a good or bad thing?
Oh, I don't know, I think it might be a good thing.
Why?
Well, because we get lots of fights, don't we? And lots of trouble.
Are you one of those people who would be offended by an England flag in your street?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
We've talked to people today who believe that the England flag is racist and the England football team's racist.
How can it be racist when it's England? It's England flag. How can it be racist?
Well, there are people who believe that it's a
If other countries fly their flag in this country, is that racist?
Well, the thing is, I just wonder whether we just aren't willing to be proud of our country.
Well, you're probably right.
Do you feel like you're Jamaican, or do you feel British, or do you feel both?
I was a British from a long time I'm in Jamaica.
I'm 16 now, so I'm a British.
Oh, you're born here?
No, I'm in Jamaica, but I'm born 1916.
Oh, so it was British when you were born.
So I'm British, you know. I'm British.
I'm going to stay with you.
Yes.
I'm also an empress
You're an empress of what?
of me.
Oh, okay.
There you go. It's a Rastafarian tradition of respect. So I've been called empress and I answer to it.
I was elected as a chieftain of the Rizal tribe of San Andres Island in the Caribbean.
Okay. Where? What island?
San Andres, it was originally founded by English settlers, but it's now part of Colombia.
Oh, wow.
Do you think that we are in Britain not proud enough of our own country?
Some people don't proud, but it's a nice country, very good country. Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes people sort of say that the England flag might be racist, but it doesn't sound like you feel.
No, sir.
England, coming here to England. England is a multicultural place.
You seem relatively feisty.
I am, and I fight. I talk back, I fight back, I argue. So if someone says something to me, I will answer back.
The Royal Mail have said to their staff that they can't fly the England flag during the World Cup. Do you think that's good or bad?
Royal Mail, up the CWU.
Fantastic. GPs have started to prescribe central heating for sick patients who are cold.
How ridiculous.
Well, is it ridiculous, though, when we've got all of these problems with the way that energy prices are going up?
Well, this is the thing. I know for a fact that this is true because it's not actually a news story. This was actually part of a... I'm starting to get really nerdy on you now, but this is part of a kind of trial programme that was put together in December last year. And it was about 150 people in Gloucestershire, if I remember rightly. And it's proven that it's kind of working. What they do is, like, it's people over the age of 60, you have to have certain things wrong with you and everything. So there are, like, some limits to it. And it's actually proven that it works because at the same time, they did, like, this comparative study of people with the same ailments inside a hospital cost the NHS 6 million, as this programme only cost the NHS about 600 quid. So, like, in terms of saving money, this is actually not that ridiculous.
Oh, get out of it, Bob.
It's just shifting responsibilities.
I think people were a lot more pro this story than they were when exercise was being prescribed by GPs, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So I think it needs to go both ways.
Yeah, that's true.
I had a friend of mine who was a GP, and somebody came into his surgery. He's from Salford, he talks like that. Right? Somebody came into his surgery and went, "Doctor, I need time off to go into rehab." And he went, "What are you addicted to?" And he goes, "I'm addicted to food." He goes, "Get out." he said, "You're just lazy fat." But can you imagine, I'm addicted to food? Oh, goodness.
I know.
But, you know, somebody did sign him off and he went into rehab. He got time off work.
Really? No. But no, I think with stuff like this, I think we do have to look about whether they're actually working and whether they're actually of any use. And if they are, we can keep them. If they don't work, then we just scrap them.
Yeah.
But like you said, when it comes to prescribing exercise and stuff, that got shot down immediately. I said, is that something that we should all be doing? I know we're not really the best people to be talking about it.
Oh, I don't know. Emma, no, actually, to be honest with you, Barnes, it's only you and me. I mean, look at me, to be honest with you. One of my thighs is the size of Emma. But, yeah, OK. Come on, Barnes, so we do a bit of working out. Come on. I don't know how you do it. Sorry, that was my attempt at it. Absolutely.
And that's why it's now prescribed on the NHS.
I've broken my arm.
It explains a hell of a lot. No.
Here we go. The butcher's getting stuck in.
But it will be interesting to see what the criteria would be to have this kind of, medicine, should we call it that? And see how it be implemented. That's what I'd be interesting to see about how it's going to work with energy providers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, OK, so is it true or false that GPs have started to prescribe central heating for sick patients who are cold?
It's true.
It is absolutely true. 300 points.
Barnes, you're cheating by constantly having read the news.
I know. It's almost like, you know, this is my job or something.
Somebody knows something on the panel. Quick, phone the press. Phone the press. OK, so... right, I'm going to try and read this out, but I don't know how to properly pronounce it. But here we go. Fashion house Balenciaga have withdrawn its Christmas advertising campaign starring children with BDSM teddy bears in bondage gear.
Yeah.
This is actually really not a very funny story. I think it's really serious. Balenciaga put out in terms of most people's view, a very paedophilic campaign, or implied paedophilia, and then withdrew it when there was a massive backlash, but then said that it was an accident, essentially, that it was put out when quite clearly it had gone through multiple layers and multiple people who had decided, and it was quite frankly disgusting, and I think that they should be apologising rather than saying, oh, it was a mistake, very, very swiftly.
Are you into BDSM teddy bears, Maya? It's not the teddy bears he's into.
I was trying to focus on the importance of it, and now I'm thinking about that.
Maya's thinking about BDSM teddy bears.
There you go.
Not the actual teddy bears. But it's a bit weird right now, the situation, because on the one hand, the woke side are basically cancelling and banning a lot of things that are just fun. And then they're also promoting degeneracy and actual harm. Whether it's, again, like child pornography or like with Netflix, there was this, what was it, the show, that the movie...
Oh, the cheerleading one.
Yeah, the little kids who were like... cuties.
There's those very disturbing sort of child model TV shows, aren't there? Where you've got these sort of beauty pageants for 8-year-olds, and you think, I just can't understand how this is appropriate.
Well, it goes with the conspiracy theory that a lot of the paedophiles manage to get these top jobs throughout history, and then they end up getting there, and then they end up doing all these things. And then even Disney, people found some like weird messages, hidden messages, like historically.
But I've got a theory about this. I don't know what you think, Lacey, but I've got a theory about this, which is that the left will do anything just to destroy society. They're not particularly into the idea of bondage teddy bears, but anything that denigrates the family and breaks Middle England's all good news.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think with this story in particular, it was bad on three folds, in my opinion. The first is no one in the mainstream media was actually covering this story. It was one that sort of went under the radar. The second was it took such a long time for Balenciaga to actually come out and apologise. Yes, they took it down, but it took such a long time to actually show any remorse for this. And the third...
I mean, we're doing well here.
I've got it. And the third being, this is a Christmas ad. You know, we will love the John Lewis happy-go-lucky coming together, and it's all lovely and warm and fuzzy. This is beyond...
I remember my one of my friends, her kid was in primary school, 10 years old, and what they had to do is they had to research on the internet different materials, and somebody got, plastic, somebody else got glass, her kid got rubber, and somebody else got leather. So he said, no, I'm sorry, we're not. And my mate said, I spent ages trying to Google rubber and finding like nothing's appropriate.
Yeah, he's definitely on a list somewhere now, isn't he?
What could my child make with rubber?
He's had to move from that school.
What's Alexa going to be recommending?
Don't say Alexa, because it'll all turn
out.
Sorry.
Everybody watching this programme now is going to absolutely hate you. Hey, Google. Hey, Google.
What's quite interesting about this, though, is... we always get, when we talk about cancel culture, the left always says, it's about holding people accountable. Well, where are they on this? Why are they aren't holding themselves to account on this? Because the photographer who was involved in this put out what I would say is probably one of the weakest apologies I've ever seen, because he was getting hate messages and stuff. And then the next thing you know, he's saying you've got to direct it at the campaign directors and stuff like that. It's nothing to do with me. And everyone's like, but you're the photographer. You took the photographs. And you're not, you can't wash your hands.
And also, on an absolutely serious note, Pete, I was merely following orders has not been a very good defence for quite try sometimes.
It's not been a defence.
They tried to run it in Nuremberg and it just wasn't successful.
Yeah, but, you know, the director of the South Bank Centre actually, he went on Twitter and blasted this photographer out saying, like, come on, you're an artist, you've got to take some responsibility in what's going on here. So there are some people in that kind of world coming out and against it, but nowhere near enough.
Well, when you say holding people to account, the reason I think this story did get as big as it obviously has done is because Kim Kardashian held them to account. She did several posts about saying how she's now going to distance herself from the brand and that she feels it's inappropriate. I think she's re-evaluating her relationship.
It has to be said, Lacey, if Kim Kardashian thinks you're morally bankrupt, you've got something to worry. But actually, let me put the other side of this. Is there an argument that says that we're just going a little bit over the top, it's all just a bit of fun, and actually we're reading something into this that shouldn't be read into?
No.
No.
There is absolutely no argument against it whatsoever. It is disgusting. It should never happen.
But they do say there's no rules in art, and I think that's the only slight argument you can make.
Yeah, but there's also, you have to remember, Balenciaga have got form on this, though, because one of the previous campaigns, I think it was in connection with Adidas, had this picture of, I can't remember, of like a handbag or something, and it was on top of the ruling of like some kind of Supreme Court case in America to do with child pornography. They've got form on this issue before, and so then it's not like they've apologised, but then they've not learnt the lesson and done it all over again.
They're just clearly well into this sort of thing, aren't they? Anyway, I think we all know which way you're going with this one. But has fashion house Balenciaga withdrawn its Christmas advertising campaign starring children with BDSM teddy bear?
Incredibly worryingly, yes, they did, and finally they've cancelled it.
It is absolutely true. 400 points. The Christmas song Santa Baby has been banned by Radio 2. The BBC claims the singer uses her sexuality to get gifts and treats Santa as a sugar daddy.
Well, fun police are out again, aren't they? That's the reality of it.
Have you ever treated Santa as a sugar daddy, Pete?
Well, you know... Why wouldn't you if you could? But this is the thing. Like, they always try and ban stuff when it comes to Christmas. You don't remember when it was Fairy Tale of New York, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it had the gay slur in it. So, but do you not remember that they released the censored version and the uncensored version, and the uncensored version was like 10 times more popular. You know, so it's like you're saying, it's just this small little minority that want to keep pushing it.
The thing that was stupid about Fairy Tale of New York, right? Clearly, it wasn't a homophobic slur because she was married to him. Yeah. Right. So had he actually been gay, then it wouldn't have. By the way, Lacey, you know, Santa only comes once a year, but when he does, he empties his sack all over your lounge.
Oh, lovely.
That's one for the dads.
I'm just worried.
He's blue.
He's blue. He's blue.
I'm just worried about what we're all going to listen to while we're waiting for all the trains that Mick Grinch has cancelled now. They're trying to steal Christmas. Talk about making a bad thing worse.
Emma, let me just say, I have never heard the phrase Mick Grinch before.
Yeah, really?
Well done, well done. I'll tell you what, I got to Paddington Station once, I'm not joking, right, and there was a woman who was struggling to get off with a friend in a wheelchair, so she turned around and she said, look, can you help? And it was me, and believe it or not, the bloke in front of me was Len Matrotsky. Right? And literally, you could see this woman thinking, is that a Conservative political commentator and Len McLaughlin helping a disabled person off a train at Paddington?
Am I in the middle of a really bad joke?
You can imagine the person thinking, I've never taken mushrooms, but had I done that, then this is what it would be like.
It's a coalition of chaos.
It's interesting you mentioned those two songs, because also, do you remember a couple of years ago, what is it, Baby It's Cold Outside?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was redone. I can't even remember who. It's probably two pop nobodies now, but...
Meow.
No, it was redone. It was redone with censored lyrics. So this is just the kind of thing that they're churning out and repeating.
As we're talking about songs, we've got to mention the Grumbleweeds. Whenever there's a mention of a rubbish celebrity, the Grumbleweeds have to... We are the Grumbleweeds. I think what we can do, you know, in the TV show Pointless, if we keep mentioning the Grumbleweeds, then they're not going to be a pointless answer. It's like the way the Central African Republic was very famous.
You've done more for the career than...
That's right. Bring back the grumbleweeds.
In fact, jokes aside, with all this stuff, because people are like, well, it's not consistent. Why are they promoting these things, but then basically cancelling other things? And why the best way that they do it essentially is that they promote or attack things based on the fact that it's either going to offend the conservative right, or they're going to bring down something. So, like, they don't like, that song, a singer who wants to basically take advantage. Well, no, what? They sing something to get something out of it, because that's self-determination. They don't like individual liberty. They don't like family values. They have to basically...
You also have to remember that the singer is Eartha Kitt, who's a black woman, so they're cancelling a black woman.
Sorry. I hadn't realised that Eartha Kitt was an actual person. I thought it was Cockney rhyming slang. No, I did.
Wow.
I'm not joking.
Em's having a moment.
That's like when I found out that Vidal Sassoon was a real person. And also, Max Factor. Right?
Yeah.
I thought Max Factor would be maximum factor.
No.
It's Maximilian Factor. Do you wear the makeup and makeup artist?
No, I think Max Factor's rubbish, to be honest. I don't know how you say that.
Well, that's edited out.
That's that advertising dropped.
But going back to Santa Baby, essentially it's a song listing her Christmas list, which is what everyone does every year anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know where this story's been extrapolated.
Do you actually do a Christmas list?
Of course, and I send it to Father Christmas.
Do you? I've got to say, I'm quite surprised, Pete, that Father Christmas hasn't been cancelled.
Well, it's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Because surely there'll be something to do with it being a symbol of patriarchy and white privilege.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's different versions of Santa in every different culture. It's just ours always seems to be the one under attack. But, it's just these stories crop up around this time of year, and it's just the fun police come out. They want to have the 15 minutes so they can ruin it for everybody else because they live quite miserable lives, and that's all it is.
And I felt really bad once when Birmingham City Council, I know it's a famous story, but I think it's worth reminding ourselves, Birmingham City Council banned the word Christmas and came up with the word Winterval instead. Now, first of all, that is clearly ludicrous, but the other thing that was deeply upsetting about it was that they blamed the local Muslim community, who had got nothing to do with it. Not only that, Jesus is an Islamic prophet, ergo the denial of his birthday is haram anyhow. So literally, but of course what then happens is there will be racism against people, because in some quarters people will get very, very upset about this.
Yeah, you are right, and I do remember that story, and I thought it was quite despicable of the council actually to kind of just blame it on something else rather than it's their own wokery. What's quite disturbing about these kind of people that make these decisions is they do it behind closed doors. You never really know who makes the call on this stuff, and I think that's what we really need to start pushing and start asking questions about.
I've got to do my far left voice again. Christmas is racist. Disgusting Tories using their position. Father Christmas is a white patriarchal leader. He advertises the Coca-Cola Corporation. That's what they're all like. Oh, get a life, you sag it. Get out of it. Get out of it.
You've been practicing that, haven't you?
And let's talk about Santa Baby. Has the Christmas song Santa Baby been banned by Radio 2 because the singer used her sexuality and effectively tries to get Santa as a sugar daddy?
I hope not. I hope not.
I'm going to leave it up to you.
False.
Oh, it is false. Amen to that, brother. That's 563 points. Well, Mick Lynch and the RMT have promised 6 days of strikes over the Christmas period. I've been out and about to find out if people are happy about having their Christmas ruined, their shops closed down, and being unable to get out and about. Excuse me, sir. There's 6 days of rail strikes over Christmas. I just wondered if you thought this was a good or a bad thing.
Not bothered.
Why not?
I won't be using them.
What? Oh, well, you've got your own transport, haven't you? Do you think it's fair for them to ruin Christmas?
No, it's not. I mean, they can strike by all means, but they've got other ways of doing it than upsetting everybody else's life, not just their work life, but private life, personal life. People in old age pensions houses and stuff like that. People in need visiting, and they can't get there.
And we also see that nurses aren't getting pay rises, but of course the rail strikers are.
Well, everyone should get the rise. no matter what you're working. Because the way the cost of living's going, everyone needs to try and get their head above it. But with the government at the moment, they've got their head stuck up their doobry and they don't know what's going on.
Do you think it's right that this is happening?
Whether it's right or wrong, it happens, isn't it? I don't know what to say about that.
Now I can't go see family during the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, and will that be a big thing for you?
Yeah, because I can't see my cousins, my aunties, my cousins, my uncles. I can't see family who are long distance, like Manchester, Birmingham. Can't see none of them over this Christmas because of him.
I just wondered whether you thought it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Bad thing, man. Bad thing.
Why?
My bus full, man. Because I train strike, it wasn't full. I'm a old boy now, stop that train. So, a bad thing, man.
There's a 6-day rail strike over Christmas. I just wondered if you thought it was a good idea.
Excellent. The government, it's about time they pay people what they're worth. They're just ripping workers off, making huge profits. So, brilliant idea.
Do you think that it's the government's fault and that train drivers have a right to strike?
Not the government fault. Not the government fault. Not the government. Blame Russia. Blame Putin. Get him down.
But look, Putin supported the Soviet Union, so did Mick Lynch from the RMT, so they're two peas in a pod.
Yeah, but them in fight Ukraine, and Ukraine exporting to England, and the price go up because of the war, so get rid of Putin.
Basically, it's time we got rid of this government, and it's time we had a fair society where people are paid what they're worth, where people are not greed heads who are putting money in offshore accounts, ripping off everybody.
But how are we going to achieve that with a rail strike?
None of the governments, no matter which one you put in, they're all the same. They all tell you a load of bullshit, you get nothing.
Absolutely.
So whether it's Labour, whether it's Green Party, Nutty Party, no matter what party it is, they've all promised you, when you get there, you get nothing.
So do you think it's right that Mick Lynch and the RMT are going to have 6 days of strikes over Christmas?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Well, because it's just not on, it just inconveniences everyone.
I am a nurse. I'm a registered nurse.
And what about when people say, look, giving nurses a pay rise is worthwhile, but a 60, 70, 80,000 a year train driver doesn't need any more money?
No, everybody needs money. But to be honest with you, nurses' pay is very small. I'm broke. When I get my salary pay, how much for rent and tax and every little thing, I don't have any money.
So I'm assuming you're from the Caribbean.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm from Jamaica.
Are we going to struggle to get nurses from Jamaica to fill vacancies in the NHS?
No, nurses are willing to come.
Well, the reason the nurses are striking is because they've been underpaid for many years, decades in fact, regardless of the Windrush or anything else, or having the foreigners come in or whatever people have been saying.
It's unfair not to pay people what they're worth and make them go to food banks, basically. So people's lives are being destroyed by being paid proper wages. So I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be rude on your radio, but Christmas, I don't care. I don't care.
Are you worried about the pay for public sector workers?
Yes, very much so.
Why?
Because they deserve it. They work hard. My son works in the railway, so yes, they deserve it.
But we needed the nurses to protect us, to keep us safe, because the doctors have their qualifications and the doctors do a great job in their sense. But the nurses are the ones by their side every day, cleaning up the P&S.
So Matt Hancock, obviously, he earned £400,000 and he earned all of his MP's salary as well. Does that take the mick in a cost of living crisis?
Well, I could put it more strongly, but I won't do that. Matt Hancock is somebody I absolutely loathe. I mean, I don't know him personally, thankfully, but I loathe that kind of greedy, selfish, two-faced.
But there's people who are going to say that Mick Lynch and the RMT are greedy and selfish because some of their members do earn a decent amount.
Yeah, but it's not. It's for all the members.
This is your stop, isn't it?
It is.
Should we get off together? Come on, we can walk.
I might not. Don't know when the next one will come.
I mean, okay, some members are earning a decent amount, but they're responsible for people's lives. So basically, train drivers have a huge responsibility, and they should be paid for having that responsibility. Because if they do something wrong, they will get.
But he was the health secretary. That's a quite important job as well, though, isn't it?
It's a very important job, but but
he didn't do it very well.
I would put it stronger than that. He's got blood on his hands.
Every single GP surgery is a private sector company. They all work for themselves.
That now, not all of them. The NHS has been privatising for a long while to keep their funds going. So imagine it like that. So now the same people, and to use your TV show, they're saying we've been giving it away to people that are not
Hello,
from
sir.
here,
How are you?
that don't actually.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
What does
actually care.
What does wagwan mean?
Wagwan means like, yo, hello, hi.
Well, we've lost our gentleman now.
You're not. You're talking to someone else.
No, there's going to be 6 days of rail strikes over Christmas. Do you think this is a good or bad thing? Thank you. Well, there you have it. The good people of Croydon are very, very worried about Christmas being undermined by striking members of the RMT. But is Mick Lynch going to bother to listen to them? Qatar has banned alcohol from the World Cup, despite the fact it's sponsored by Budweiser. The company will send all unsold beer to the winning country, hopefully not Iran.
Yeah, no. Oh, wait, send it to the team that's going to win. That's a punishment, considering Budweiser is absolutely terrible as beer.
Do you think it is?
It's watered down. That's why Americans drink it. I'm going to get cancelled by America now. I'll be off.
I mean, that's great, isn't it? So we've done Budweiser and Max Factor. Yeah. I mean, look, you know, what other global brands have we got? Like, let's have a crack at Louis Vuitton. You know?
I'm pretty sure they did ban alcohol from the stadiums, but the fact that they're saying they're going to send it all to the winning country, I don't think is true. I don't think it can be.
I've got to say, that if you want to beer and a hot dog, you're pretty much screwed.
It's brilliant. Wow. Well, apparently you can't find beer, but it's £12. It's more expensive than London now. I mean, what are they going to do with that money? Considering Qatar are very moral. So that's blood money, basically. That's alcohol money.
I'm sorry. This is your Persian side coming over. How on earth can you describe somebody who killed 6,500 slave labourers as moral?
Well, allegedly 200.
I mean, I've got to say, Pete, the thing that amazes me about the Qatar World Cup is a couple of things. First of all these Black Lives Matter, all these political left, all these people who complained about slavery, not a squeak. And it has to be said that, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but the issue of discrimination against gay people in Qatar is minor compared to the level of slavery that was used to build the stadiums, and nobody cares.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's absolutely disgusting, if I'm being brutally honest. But did nobody find it funny when England played America and England took the knee and America didn't? I found that rather entertaining.
It's brilliant actually. So effectively, we have taken the knee for American slavery, and America hasn't bothered.
Yeah, that's just not bothered with it. But no, is anybody really surprised with any of this? Whether it comes to the virtue signalling of the protests, or even them banning alcohol in the stadiums. Like, I remember when Qatar got given the World Cup, it was pretty much the first question that was asked. It's like, can you have a drink there? And then from what I remember, I think that they kind of did a 180 on this, right just before it all started.
Yeah, but they wanted to be progressive. They actually said, those who say, well, leave them alone because they were always going to do this. No, when they got the thing 10 years ago, 12 years ago, they promised we're going to use this platform to do some sort of progress, to improve, to actually evolve and become, they didn't say westernized, but you know what they meant. But they've changed their mind. So technically they lied.
I'll tell you what I found really, really disgusting. You look at all those wags, and they're all going on about how woke they are and whatever. They turned round, and from what I can see, and if any wags are watching, and I'm wrong, then I apologise. But effectively they go, oh, well, Qatar abuses women's rights. Qatar abuses gay rights. Qatar won't let us drink. Qatar won't let us do this. Qatar won't let us go out on our own or whatever. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's get a £1 billion yacht and just sail off the coast where we're in international waters. So we can do all that. And it's like, how can you think that that's appropriate?
It's almost like they're not really thinking very much, isn't it?
It's almost like you've fully accepted all the problems with Qatar and you don't give a toss as long as you get to your own party.
I must admit, one of my friends apparently went, friends on friends went on one of these cruises. I kind of felt left out. I was like, oh, I should have done that. You can actually drink everything.
Oh, do you know what makes me laugh? Everyone on the panel sat there going, oh, I'd go on £1 billion. Well up for that. Well up for it. OK, so has Qatar banned alcohol from the World Cup, despite being sponsored by Budweiser? And is it going to send unsold beer to the winning country?
Yes to the banning, but I don't think it's going to send the unsold beer to the winning country.
Yeah,
Do you think they would? OK, we'll go with you.
Oh, God.
It's absolutely true!
Oh, well done.
Well, a bid of 86,000 points. What are England's chances in the World Cup?
Good. As good as any. We got to a final of the European Championships. We've got good young players. Obviously, there's some top teams in the World Cup, and you need a little bit of luck. But we've got as good a chance as any.
I mean, Iran, USA, and Wales.
What about them?
Well, they're not top draw, are they?
Well, no. I think we'll get through the group. But I think I think most teams will believe they'll get through the group, most of the big teams. England are no different, but the knockout stage is a different ball game. Obviously, France, Argentina, Portugal, Belgium, top sides in there. But I expect us to get comfortably through the group, and then we'll see what happens.
I mean, this is a good team. Are you kind of sad that you're not going to be there? I know you retired a little while ago.
Yeah, listen, I felt like I had a good innings. I had 2006, 2010 World Cups, and although we didn't win them, I still very proud to have played for England, and it was an amazing time. Yeah, of course, I'd love to have won it, but it's been one of those things that we just can't get at the moment, and I'm sure that our time will come.
So you think we're genuinely competitive this time?
I do, I really do. Yeah, I think we've got some great young players, loads of talent, loads of ability. We've proved that we can get to a major final. It's just taking that next step and getting that little bit of luck.
So how important is music and football chants to football in general?
Oh, it's huge, isn't it? I mean, the fans play a huge part, and the World Cup being around Christmas time, this is a bit of fun. I've got a bow tie on.
Did you tie it yourself?
No, I didn't actually.
That's not a self-tie. That is a disgrace.
I couldn't do it. I've got a clip-on one at home, but they wanted the real thing. Football chants and football songs are what the game is about, and this is obviously a bit of fun, tying in with the World Cup and Christmas and the fans' chants. But yeah, obviously England supporters are going to be massive in the summer for us, and they're what the game's about.
Now look, I've got to ask you this question. I feel bad about it, but you were attempting to be a conductor today. Was that a musical conductor or a lightning conductor? There had to be a height joke in there.
I don't know what I was doing. I really don't. But I felt like I carried it off. Hopefully they weren't following me.
But did you have some training? Because it did feel like there was bits of it that did look reasonably professional.
I did have some training, believe it or not. Someone came into my room earlier and actually taught me how to do it. But I think you just got to go for it. I feel like I've improved as the day's gone on, and maybe something for the future.
Well, I think you mucked it up actually, and I'll tell you why. Because you didn't do it as a robot. I mean, I don't understand how you did not conduct like a robot.
No, I've no robots here today. I don't think they would have got on board with that. I think it's all about being flamboyant. Get your arms, wave them about a bit, and they seem to know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're a pretty good team. Now look, okay, are you going to be Christmas #1 then?
Well, that's the aim. Obviously, it's a bit of fun. They've got to raise some money for charity. Paul Potts is a fantastic singer, and the orchestra are.
He's quite a nice bloke as well, actually, isn't he?
He's a lovely fella, and these are proper musicians. I'm here just messing about with a stick, but these are actually good singers, and the fact you tie it in with the World Cup and the football songs, it's been a lot of fun.
Introducing Mike and Kevin's Ice Cream for Snowflakes. Indulge in our deliciously sanctimonious flavors, such as Extinction Raspberryan, Cancel Culture and Cream, Cookie Double Warming, Non-Bineberry, Woca-Cola, Ginger Nut, and Vanilla. All made from our organic gender fluid. Mike and Kevin's Ice Cream for Snowflakes.
Hancock has just signed up to play King Rat in Dick Whittington with Julian Clary and Dawn French at the London Palladium.
I want this to be true so badly, because then I will be the first in line to get tickets to see that. Because
Would
I
you
think,
really?
oh come on, who wouldn't want to watch that? Just see the jokes that Julian Clary would make about Matt Hancock.
Well,
that alone would be worth the price of admission.
I think we all know the joke that Julian Clary made about Norman Lamont when he was a Conservative MP. So yes.
Yeah. But no, again, this is the kind of Matt Hancock. Well, I think I saw somebody call it jungle washing on Twitter. Which jungle washing, which I thought was the greatest phrase I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what, Pansy, we've talked about sports washing in Qatar, but jungle washing, that is the best one I've heard
I know,
so
I
far.
thought it's brilliant.
You and Mowgli.
So good.
But no, like, you know, this is the Matt Hancock kind of like Renaissance moment that, you know, that ITV have allowed him to do this. You know, he's been able to reinvent himself. I think he's just sold the serial rights for his new book. So, like, yeah, he's going to be cashing in on this no end. And in some way, I don't really blame him. You know, if he's got the opportunity in front of you, most people are probably going to do it.
But would you eat a kangaroo's penis for 400 grand?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I was going to say 400 grand.
Wow.
I've eaten Mayar's cooking. I expect it can't be worse than that.
What does Mahyar cook?
Well, his Deliveroo takeaways, anyway.
Actually, he's from Iran. Eyeball.
Yeah, you eat around it.
You eat sheep's brains sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I love good brain.
Yeah.
And liver.
There you go.
Do you eat sheep's brains?
Not on its own.
Not on its own like that.
I think you need some garnish, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, obviously. The only problem with sheep's brain is it's not garnished, says Lacey.
there you go. But what pantomime is this supposed to be?
It's supposed to be King Rat in Dick Whittington.
Yeah, no, I pray this isn't true. I
don't
couldn't imagine anything worse. But pantomimes, I think they've gone terribly downhill. Do you remember when... Oh, there's so many controversies around them now, because obviously you typically had, was it Widow Twanky, which was normally a man dressed in woman's clothing with voluptuous whatever. I don't know if that's inappropriate now. Used to throw sweets over at the children. Now that's health and safety gone mad. So,
although my brother went to I think it was Lardy Dars in Accrington, and it was a nightclub, and he was throwing out he's throwing out CDs, and he did nail somebody in the eye. And got sued. He managed to get his local radio station sued.
But one person running for everyone.
Okay, so do we believe that Matt Hancock has just signed up to play King Rat in Dick Whittington with Julian Clary and Dawn French in the London Palladium?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No, it's false.
It is false. Congratulations to our winners tonight, which is Pete and Lacey. Yes, well done.
There you go.
It's just because it's her first appearance. I don't really care. But well done anyway to Maya and Emma. Do you know what? We promised you no snowflakes. I think we achieved it. Until next time, goodbye.